Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. If you're tuning in for the very first time, my name is Kim Dent. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I've been a demonstrator for 24 years. I live in Maryland Heights, Missouri, and I love teaching stampers and crafters how to make quick, easy, and adorable greeting cards. If you found me on my YouTube channel, please say hello. Also, if you'll be so kind to like, comment, please share my video, and also if you would hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. If you're watching Facebook Live tonight, please say hello, or if you're watching on the replay on Facebook, please comment #replay and let me know what you think about the cards. All right, hello, hello. Hi, Denise. Hello, Jill. How's everybody this weekend? How's that new grandbaby, Denise? That little grandson. Hello. Okay, let me get this set up because I have a feeling I'm going to talk a lot tonight. And I'm going to sync my laptop. Hi, Sandy. Hello, hello. Let's see who else is here. I wish this would be smoother, but it's not. So hold on one second. I wish this would be smoother. I need an assistant to sit here and do that for me. I need a moderator. I'm not that fancy. Oh, hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Well, I feel like I've been gone forever, but I have just missed 2 Sundays in a row of doing Facebook Lives. The first weekend, 2 weeks ago, we had a great big weekend. I think I told you all about it if you watched. We had our 44th wedding anniversary on September 5th, and we celebrated down on the hill. So if you're from St. Louis or Illinois, you know about the hill. We had a fantastic meal at a place that we've gone to for a couple of years called Mama's that is so good. And then Saturday the 6th, I had my 45th high school class reunion, and that was at Shamrocks. That was at our son's restaurant, and we had about 100 or so people that included spouses, and that was a lot of fun catching up. I've told some of you that my high school, we graduated, Rick and I graduated from Pattonville. So did our kids, so did my mom. So we have a long line of Pattonville graduates here. And so we celebrated on Saturday the 6th, and then September 7th was Rick's 64th birthday, and we celebrated on his birthday. And then last Sunday, I wasn't with you all because we celebrated with our entire family. So Kyle and Kelly Jane, and then Kelly and Mike and Vera. So we had a lot of celebrating going on. And then coming up in a few weeks, we've got Vera's birthday. So I probably will miss you all in, I think it's 2 weeks. But we'll, don't worry, I'll be filling you with a whole bunch of cute cards and Stampin' Up! Information between now and then. So Denise, isn't it so fun, Denise? Isn't being a grandma the very best? It is the very best. I've had friends tell me for a while that I was going to love it, and Vera is going to be 2, and it's just been nothing but joy. All joy, all joy. Yeah, all joy every time we see her. And when we're not with her, we want to be with her. So it's good. Rick and I both love. We are Poppy. I don't think I've told you all that. So I'm Poppy. That's my grandma name. And Rick is Pop-Pop. So Poppy, I just love hearing her say both Pop-Pop and Poppy. So anyway, life is good. Life is so good. So I have a bunch of cards. Some of the cards I'm going to share with you all from my big stamp classes at Zion, and then I've done a couple of small classes recently, and I'm going to share those cards also. And then one of the cards that I've been doing at if you're interested, if you're in the St. Louis area, so I hold, or St. Louis or Illinois area, I hold big classes at Zion Lutheran Church in Maryland Heights, Missouri every single month. And before COVID, I did this, and I'm just now getting back into it, and I love it so much. I'm doing small groups. So I will come to you if you're within a reasonable distance, and you can get 6 stampers together. We don't make 5 cards, we make 3 cards. So if you're interested in getting your friends together, I would love to talk to you about stamping. I come to you, I bring everything prepped and ready to go. Usually it takes just, well, depending on the size of your group, it just takes about an hour and 45 to do 3 cards. I guess it also depends on how many people. If you've got 15 people, it would take longer, but for about 6 to 10 people, it's like an hour and 45 minutes. So if you're interested, please leave a comment. I would love, love, love. I used to do this all the time before COVID, and then we kind of got away from it when the world changed for a bit, and now I'm back to it, and I love it. I love it. So contact me if you want more information about me coming to you. Hello, Vicki. Hello, hello. Okay, I'm going to spin my camera around, and I'm going to start showing you a whole bunch of good stuff. So hold on just one moment. All right, I'm trying to simplify this, and that went pretty well. If you're new to Facebook or watching my Facebook group, this is my website. This is where you can find out more about me. This is where you can find my class schedules at Zion Lutheran Church in Maryland Heights. This is where you can place an order if you like placing online orders. So there's my website. My email is there because if you have questions about the cards we make tonight, I'm going to make 1 card tonight, but I'm going to talk about a handful of them. If you would like me to place an order for you, there's my email address. And if you have my telephone number, if you want to leave a message, in a comment, either on YouTube or Facebook, and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be happy to be yours. So there's my little commercial about all of that stuff. Oh my goodness, Denise, he is already 6 weeks old. It just goes by so fast. And your Opa, oh, I love that. Opa and Oma. Hi, Peggy. How about if you're a grandma, drop your grandma name. I would love to know all the different grandma names, grandma or grandpa names that we have on here tonight. If you're grandma and grandpa, or your granny, or your mama, or grandmama. I love Opa and Oma, and I think is that German? Is that German, Denise? Opa and Oma? All right, here we go. Let me stop gabbing. Peggy and Vicki, what do your grandkids call you? And Jill. All right. Let's see, and I'm sure there's more on there, but I'm watching the names go by. Grammy and Papa. Oh, I love that. So good, Grammy. All right, the first card. This is, you can see I got a stack to show you. So the first card, this was inspired by a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator friend who lives in Illinois, and her name is Emily Kimmy. She's on Instagram and does fantastic little reels. So if you are on Instagram, please go look her up. She also has a blog, and she goes by EMK Creations. So she's a fantastic demonstrator. Go look her up. This is such a sweet and simple card. I took a 2 3/8 circle punch, and this is the Autumn Toile. I love saying that, Autumn Toile. It sounds so fancy, doesn't it? DSP. This was an easy card. All I did was I punched a circle out and there's a bunch of these on one page, it's a 12 by 12 sheet. This little scene right here, punched it out with a circle. I took, this is 5 1/4 by 4. That's another piece of that pretty DSP. And then this is, I can tell, let's see, it is 1 1/2 by 4. And that's, I think you can probably see it. It's another little pattern right there. And then this was just a skinny little 1 inch by 3 inch piece of vanilla. We use vanilla on this one. And this is an old stamp set because it's, I think, called Go To Greetings. I love it. I wish we still had it, but go to greetings. It's so fun. And I love the font on this. So the stampers just stamped whatever they want right here. It was a rectangle and then they snipped it off kind of like at an angle. And then these are the streaked dots that coordinate with the Autumn Toile suite. So isn't that fun? Nice and easy. Thank you, Emily. Here's another one. This one, if you came to my stamp classes, you will recognize it. It is made with the Gathering Together DSP. This is a gatefold card. And this big die, this big Mamma Jamma die is from the Gathering Together suite. And so I'm going to bring out, this is just a flyer that I have this suite, the Gathering Together suite. It's an online exclusive. It came out in September and I love it. I love fall. So this just, I've gone through so many packs of this paper. It is so good. So this die is, there's that die. It is huge. And it is fun to play with. If you came to stamp classes, there's that same, there's the same card, only I replaced it with this big Mamma Jamma leaf. Isn't that fun? Love it. So different, isn't it? I don't know, Stampin' Up, we've had big dies before, but I can't remember us having a great big leaf die like this before. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. And then you'll see me, I've used tons of this twine. We're going to use it tonight. And then these are the Cajun Craze and gold dots on there. So there's that one. This was a card that we did in class. Same layout, just we used different leaves. And there's a die that cuts out this leaf. This Happy Birthday is from Charming Day. So it is not from the, it's not from the Gathering Together stamp set. I just wanted one that said Happy Birthday, but the inside, Thankful for You, that is from the Gathering Together. So there's that one. This one was another easy one to make. This is like a 5-minute card. There's more of that Autumn Toile. And I just cut out, this was a great way, if you like to get a lot of cards out of your DSP, this is a great, I mean, it's a 3x4. And it's so fun because that particular sheet had tons, this scene just repeated throughout. So I cut it up 3x4, gave it a layer of 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then this piece is pecan pie. And we use, there is a lovely leaf embossing folder. And I think you can see the detail on that. And then this particular banner is from Stylish Shapes. So, and there's more of those streak dies. So look how cute. And it came together so easy. I have autumn wishes on this one. This would be great just for a thinking of you card. But on this one, this is another stamp that is in the set. I love this one. Blessed to have you in my life. Oh, like those stamps will be around. I just will never get rid of that because I just have so many people in my life that I'm thankful for, and I should put that on their cards, like birthday cards, blessed to have you in my life. It's just, it's such a beautiful, beautiful stamp set, beautiful verbiage. So there you go. There's another one. This was the first Christmas card of the season, and I love it. It's with Peaceful Garden. So you've probably seen this if you're on Pinterest or you follow other demonstrators. This is a suite that came out, I want to say in June. We had a special online event the demonstrators did, and we could purchase this, and I love it. I love blues. The tones are, this is Misty Moonlight, and then that's Cloud Cover. And then the words, this stamp, Peace on Earth, is part of this Peaceful Gardens stamp set. And the doves, so good. But it also has, look how beautiful. It's also has sympathy words in it. So if you need a stamp set with, who would have thought? Christmas, or sympathy. And then I love it because at my stamp classes, one of the ladies said, oh, this is like if you give baptismal cards, this dove is perfect. These are dies. This is that 2 3/8 inch punch. And then the DSP. So it's not, like if you look at it, it's not, your traditional reds and greens, but isn't it just so beautiful? So that's Peaceful Garden. And the ribbon is gorgeous too. It's got silver. I'm sure you can see it in there, the silver flecks. And then these sweet, these are called the blue hue flowers. So love this. Here's another one of those. I love doing these. This idea came from Sue Campfield. You might have, I think, let's see. I know I've talked about this before. This is that, let's see, help me out here. This is 5.5 by 6. So see, it's kind of, that Cajun Craze is cut short. I scored it 4 1/4. And then this piece of DSP, again, that's gathering together, is 3 inches by 5.5. And then these sweet little leaves. So that's a fun way to use up. I had a lot of ladies saying to me, I am going to do this because you can use up that DSP, that scrapbook paper. This is a great way to use a big chunk of it. And then this is like a 1 by, this piece skinny right here, 1 by 5 1/4. And then the last card, which is the card I'm going to demonstrate tonight, is, oh no, I got one more. This one we did at class. Go nuts, it's your birthday. Isn't this fun? There's gathering together. So you can see I was really on a kick of using that gathering together paper. And then this is the fluffy squirrel, and he's got a coordinating punch, and it also punches out the little acorn. We just stamped him in Cajun Craze, and then it's a 2-step stamp set. Stamped the outline in Early Espresso. This little bitty acorn, we inserted a teeny scrap of crumb cake, and then we used the blends to color the topper of the acorn, as well as we stamped the tree stump in Early Espresso, and then colored it in with a brown tone. So this is so fun, and it's such, I said, when you see, I would have avoided this because little animals, but when you have little kids or people who like squirrels, this is I just thought this would be an adorable, not go nuts, it's your birthday, but making little animal creature cards with this little squirrel would be so cute for Vera. And this one has a partner in the stamp set that also faces this one. It mirrors one another, and there's lots of little bitty stamps. So it's a great stamp set, and I love it. Anytime they give us a punch to punch out an image, I love those. All right, that's all of the cards, and except for this one, which is the one I'm going to demonstrate tonight. This one, isn't this, I hope you like it. This is done with the Spotlight on Nature dies. This, well, here, let me get the kit out. The stamp set is Amber Autumn, and there's that blessed to have you in my life. Autumn wishes, grateful for you, thanks, and you're simply the best. So there's that beautiful stamp. Now, I have done this now for 2 classes, and I'll show you when I stamp it. This stamp, you could stamp it in Early Espresso, and it would be beautiful just by itself. But I use the blends, so we're going to do that tonight. And Amber Autumn also has dies, but the die that I use for this is from Spotlight on Nature, or sorry, Spotlight on Nature. Here it is. Spotlight on Nature dies. I had a moment. I had a little senior moment right there. These dies are, you can see, I love them. I use them all the time. There you go. I even have 2 sets of these girls. That's how much I use them. I love them. I love them, love them. So these are in the annual catalog. All right, set this aside. I'm going to let you take a look at that for a second. And the kit is really simple. It is a piece of Cajun Craze. been using a ton. Like, this is not, I don't know. I think it's because of that beautiful Gathering Together paper. I have never used so much Cajun Craze and Early Espresso. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So there's your card base. And then here's your inside. I use 3 3/4 by 5. So typically for an inside piece, and I just feel like a card it just is a finished card when it has either a white or vanilla insert. So I know a lot of demonstrators, they'll just stamp like directly onto this, or especially the lighter colors like this one, like Basic Beige, they would just stamp like directly onto this on the cardstock. But I like a finished card. So I either use 3 3/4 by 5 or 4 by 5 1/4. So there's that. And then we need a piece of, this is Autumn Toile, 4 by 5.5. And I'll share with you this piece because I had a lot of this. You could easily, so let me show you this. Here's the piece that goes on top. This is 3 by 5 1/4, and this is gathered together. So this is a different pack. But really what I could have done, or if I was doing this like for 80 people, really what I would have done is cut this piece into like 1-inch strips. So instead of 4 by 5.5, it would have been 1 by 5.5, and each stamper would receive 2 pieces. But for my smaller classes, and because I had a lot of it, but that's just a way you know, use up, like, I know we all have those little scraps when we're cutting down our DSP. So really, if you wanted to do a paper saver, just use, and I don't even think you would need one, maybe like 3/4 inch by 5 1/4. So, and then the next piece is Basic White. I used 4 by 4, and hello, Mary. Hello, Mary Hasna. 4 by 4, and this is what I used the, here's that Spotlight on Nature. So this one is, you can see this one, the cardstock, we call those little chads. But what I do, here's my little tip. I will either use a brush, which we sell, that attaches to my Take Your Pick tool, or I'll just sit and I will poke these, because when I'm down in my stamp room, it's my happy place, so I don't mind doing that. So there's little pieces that come out of it. But we do sell a brush, or on your Take Your Pick tool, you'll receive this. And let me give you a moment on a little tour. This is a little spatula. You'll see lots of demonstrators using the spatula end. I seem to use the pierce, the pointy end. And then this is and I use this a lot. You can see this has like putty in it, and it is replaceable. So this is what I use to pick up. Usually you'll see me use this to pick up the gems or the sequins. And when what happens is, like, when you screw this down, and then it will pop there. You can see it's starting to come up more putty. You don't need a lot. This lasts a long time, but if you use all of it up, then we have replacements, and they're really inexpensive. So I love these. And then it comes with this nice cap, these caps that keep you safe if you're traveling with it. So, okay, did I do everything? And then, the twine that we're going to use, this is part of Gathering Together, and this is Early Espresso and Old Olive. I've used so much of this. I have a ton of these. I got to figure out a card that we use Old Olive or some sort of green, but the Early Espresso we're using tonight, and I love it. I've gone through so much. So here we go. This is what I would recommend. If you are going to recreate this card, I would recommend that you stamp first and then cut it out. But I'm going to, so with larger stamps, instead of taking, well, let's see, with large stamps, you'll see me I usually go like this. I take my ink pad to my stamp, and then that way I know that I can see where the ink's going, and I see that all my little stamp is all covered. And I recommend, if you're going to do this, you stamp first. Oh, and there, look how pretty that is. You could stamp this, you could use basic beige, and just if you want a little bit of color, but the detail on this, I just love this. I don't know if it's because, I don't know, I love fall and I love pumpkins, but isn't that pretty? So, oh, here we go. Well, I'm going to try tonight. So I did die cut first, just so I didn't have to do it on camera. So we'll see if I can do this and not mess it up. But if you're doing it, I would recommend stamping and then putting the die over it and running it through that way. Just because I'm kind of worried that my stamp is going to hit those little bumps and ridges. So we'll see. And I had someone, they said, well, this is like a good Thanksgiving card. Yes, it is. But it's also, you know, I think it's a great fall card. It's a great thinking of you card. So don't think it has to be for just Thanksgiving. Oh, that turned out good. Like, I'm surprised. All right. So, very pretty. You could put Wink of Stella on there. But I'm going to color it tonight, and I'm going to share some of my tips on coloring. So I am using a whole bunch of colors. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I got my camera down as low as it'll go, so I'll just keep. Okay, so I'm using a whole bunch of colors. These are good pumpkin colors. This is actually, we're going to use dark Calypso Coral. See if I can set it up. Dark Calypso Coral, dark Pumpkin Pie. I realize you probably can't see that. I don't have a fancy camera, sorry. I'm going to use dark Cajun Craze. And then I'm going to use dark Daffodil Delight. So these are alcohol markers, and there's dark Old Olive. And then I'm going to bring in light Mossy Meadow and dark green apple green. And then this one, which is such a pretty little peach, it's light pumpkin pie. So if you don't have all of these colors, you know, pumpkins just come in we know that now, all sorts of different colors. But these are the colors that I'm using, and I'm going to show you how, when you color, you can, I just love the alcohol markers. So I'm going to show you real quick. When you color, it would just, this image would look fine if you just went in and colored and didn't intend on adding any, like, I guess we call it shadows, maybe. Jill, what would we call it? Detail, shading, that's the word. Shading. That's a hard one. So this also would be really pretty if you if you wanted to use watercolor pencils. If you have watercolor pencils and a blender pen. Okay, so there's where my pumpkin, that's Calypso Coral, all by itself, and it looks great. But I'm going to come in with dark Cajun Craze and watch how the image changes. So the thing that I learned this, and I'm so thankful. You can, like, if you didn't take enough art classes like me, but you like to color, Stampin' Up, in this, many of our stamps, they have designed the stamps where all I have to do, see those detail lines? I'm just going in just like I did in the 6th grade, where I took my marker and I kind of outlined, but I'm using it like as the detail or the shadow. I'm just taking that dark Cajun Craze, like one shade darker than Calypso Coral, and I'm going in, and then watch what happens when I want to blend it. So I'm adding, and that's the fun part about using the blends, is that you can just keep adding color and watch how the image pops. Ooh, so good. Can you tell? It's like becoming realistic looking. And I'm going to do the same thing with the little pumpkin. I'm going to go in, and let's see if I can use the, no, yeah, I'll use the brush tip. So this is very relaxing to me. I have, you know, if I come down to my stamp room and I have a lot of time and I want to make a bunch of cards, I love using the alcohol markers. And that reminds me, I know I've said this probably to some of you, but Stampin' Up! Announced this month that we are no longer going to carry the Stampin' Right markers. So I was kind of sad about that, but I understand, like, the sales, they've told us the sales have gone down. They're also not going to carry red rubber anymore, which is so crazy to me. We're going to go to photopolymer, which are our clear stamps. So soon we will no longer, I think they're going to continue this but they will no longer like design the stamps in red rubber, or they'll go all photopolymer, and then the Stampin' Right markers, which are our water-based markers, are going to go away, and then we'll just have the blends, the alcohol markers. So there's that little pumpkin done in just dark pumpkin pie, but I'm going to come in with Cajun Craze. And then the other thing that we've learned is our packaging for our stamps is going to be very similar to our die cases. So where did I just put that? Here we go. So our stamps will now come, I think, in something that is larger than this a little bit, but we will no longer have cases like this. So if you're a stamper who's been with Stampin' Up! For a long time, you know that we've gone through a bunch of changes, and this is one, and I understand why Stampin' Up! Is doing it. It'll take a little bit of adjustment, but we'll get through it, and before you know it, we'll be all saying, wow, this was such a good idea. So there you can see, can you see like the marker? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my dark pumpkin pie, and I'm going to blend that all together. So you're going to still see that Cajun Craze come through, but it just brings it to life. So that's how easy it is, everybody. It is that simple. Doesn't it pop when I add just that? And for a long time, girls, I thought, like, if I used dark pumpkin pie, I would use just on an image, I would use, like on this, I would use light pumpkin pie and dark pumpkin pie, light Calypso Coral, dark Calypso Coral. But then some demonstrator said, you know, you can mix those colors up. And I was like, a light bulb went off. So this is Calypso Coral with the detail line is Cajun Craze, and then I went back over it with Calypso Coral. This was dark pumpkin pie, and then I went back over it, or I did dark Cajun Craze, and then I went back over it with pumpkin pie. I'll show you, let's see, watch this one. I'm going to do the corn, and this is dark Daffodil Delight, which is really pretty. It's a beautiful yellow. And I'm going to do this leaf too. And I'm going to come in with light pumpkin pie. Isn't this fun? Because leaves are all sorts of different colors. And I want to tell you this. So this, I can tell that ink is still wet. And so with that pumpkin pie, that light pumpkin pie, I can tell that I have peachy tones. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I didn't have to blend it. I guess probably because it's a small image, both the corn and the leaf. And then for the this gourd that's in the background, I used Grainy Apple Green. How many of you love fall as much as I do? Christmas is my favorite, but I do love fall. I love pumpkin. I've said this before. I love all things pumpkin. I love pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin candles. Okay, for this one, I'm going to come in with light Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to do that same thing. Just go over the detail. So that one too, it doesn't seem like I need, I guess that's because it's a smaller image. That darker color just blended right in. And let's see, let's use some dark old olive for my stems. And this little, what do we call this? The vine. That was a little tricky because it is so tiny. Do you see what I'm talking about right here? So I have to really concentrate. I'm going to just add just a hair because alcohol markers, yeah, I can tell it's bleeding a little bit. So I'm like barely touching. Here's another one right here. And I'm just going to add a little bit right there. Oh, and the gourd has, I'm going to bring this right back in. Oops, I got a cup. See, I didn't go all the way down, and I'm going to do. So with images, I can continue to add colors. Like I joined the gourd and this pumpkin together. But if you're doing like big images, you want to work pretty much with one image at a time. Like I could never, if this was a large stamp, the alcohol is what makes the brush strokes blend. So you've got to kind of only work one area at a time. So that's just a quick little change in, oh yeah. Oh, Jill, I totally get it. I totally get it. My stamps are, you probably can see them sometimes. That to my right, I have two big cabinets, and my current stamps are alphabetical. My retired stamps are on the other side of my wall over here, and they are not alphabetical. I wish they were, but I have so many of them. But yeah, it's going to be a change where we've got to just go with it, I guess. But I do, if you're interested, I do have, I have had some stampers tell me, because we can buy, like you'll see my chamois we can buy these cases. I have had some demonstrators tell me that in the new packaging, they're going to take the stamp sets and buy stamp cases to keep the same thing going. So I know I'm trying to think of all sorts of solutions, but yeah, that's the best one I've kind of heard so far. Let me clean off my stamp. So I am, let's see, through the magic of television. I'm not going to color the whole thing because I've already done it, but there's a finished one. I added, this was dark Cajun Craze. For the wheat, I had dark daffodil. For the ground, I had Mossy Meadow. And for the corn husk, I think that was also light Mossy Meadow. So there's the finished one. All we have to do now is assemble and add some embellishments. So bring in the Autumn Toile. Oh, and let's see, did I run out? Oh, boo. Well, now you're going to, I've said this before. So I am going to change the, here we go. This is my Stampin' Seal. And some of you have asked me about this. I'll show you how I reload it. So I take and open this up and get the cartridge. So they're refillable. Oh, and that was not smart. Look. Okay. And then I'm going to line up these two pieces with this and this and lay it on there. And then I close it back up. Ta-da! There we go. Okay. So don't forget that tip that I shared with you. If you like to make your DSP go a long way, then instead of using this big piece, you cut it into like, if you're doing this layout, cut it into 2 pieces of 3/4 by 5.5, or just a hair under, oh, come on, just a hair under 5.5. There we go. Which would be, let's see, 5 7/16. And I only know that because of my trusty Victor ruler. I like to cut it so the card is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. But lately, if I do DSP like this, you can see it just helps me avoid taking my scissors and cutting off like at one end. So just, I say a hair, that really makes more sense, but that's the funny measurements. And then look how pretty. Isn't that? And I don't know, I saw this layout, I think, on, not with this paper, but with like, just to take this 3-inch strip. And they, you know, look, they are the same colors, but I never would have done that. 2 different packs of paper. But it adds depth and dimension, and I just think, I love this. I love this. So I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. And I had the class that I taught recently, I had one sweet stamper. She said to me, like, do you put like one under here, like to pop it up? And I'm like, no, I probably use like 5 or 6. I don't like my things to get smushed, so especially if they're going in the mail. So I have a little problem with dimensionals, which is probably why these little backings are all over the place. Okay, look how pretty that is. All right, then we're going to bring in, I tied a bow already, so here's my bow from that twine that I was talking about. And I've got a glue dot. I like to take, especially with like these bows, I take the glue dots and I kind of roll them up. So there it is on the tip of that nail. And I kind of roll it up like a little dot like that. And then I'm going to put it on the corn. And I don't know why, like, you know, sometimes I like think too hard about stuff like this, but I'm like, I wanted some texture on here, and I thought that, you know, where should I put the bow? So the corn got it, but I try not to think too hard. I think too hard sometimes about it, about where things should go, or, you know, then I have to remind myself, this is a card, Kim. So there's my little twine bow, and then I'm going to bring in, these are the Cajun Craze and gold dots, and I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool, which is under my blends, and I like 3, so 1. So they come in small, medium, and large. And also my other tip is, shared with me, if you put them, I like to always do some sort of triangle. So for some reason, that looks and works well. So there's that. This one, let's see, what should we put on the inside? I'm going to put expressing heartfelt gratitude. And where's my ink pad? Here it is. So I hope you like the card. I hope I've shared some tips with you that you didn't know before about coloring. If you haven't colored before and you want to try, come to one of my classes. They're very easy to use, which I think is why I love it so much. I love using the alcohol blends because they are so easy to use, and I think they look so, I don't know, finished, like so professional. So, expressing heartfelt gratitude. That could go for so many different things. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the replay, or thanks for tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate all of you. If you have any questions, or if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be happy to be yours. So just leave a comment or send me an email, and I would be happy to get in touch with you, and also to pop some catalogs in the mail to you if you live in the United States. So thank you. Thanks, Jill. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. God's blessings. Bye-bye.